Guys, this is Bernard Parker, your legend. My book, From Shaq to Destiny, will be out soon. It's now up for pre-orders, pulling up to the launch on the 7th of September in Boksburg at the Birchwood Hotel. Buy the book. It's my life story. It's my autobiography, written by the author, Dr. Charlie Peterson, and supported by iDiskiTV. This is just for me to share my life story and to inspire you, the next generation, and also to inspire the kids out there to say, no matter where you come from, no matter your circumstances, if you believe, you can achieve. Feel it and go reach for your dream.
How would you characterize your stay at Chiefs? Because in my estimation, you are a club legend. And I think when you joined TS Galaxy, we shot videos and I specifically spent maybe the first 2 minutes and I said, a club legend at the club, and you score the most goals in the PSL era for the club. Surely a conversation needs to be had with a player to ascertain whether or not it's a good idea to go to another team or be around the team. And I said the same thing about Happy Jele as well, because I was speaking how I felt at the time. And factually, you guys were icons at those clubs. You broke records at those clubs.
Correctly.
How would you characterize your stay there? Was it mostly enjoyable? And how about the last 8 years as well, where for the first time in our lifetimes, we see Kaizer Chiefs not winning a single trophy?
It was an all-round stay. My time spent at Chiefs, it was an all-round stay in terms of highs, lows, mids, semi-mid, semi-high, semi-lows. It was all-round. All-round also in terms of breaking records, best defensive record in all time, together with the group, with Abo Fabian McCarthy and Patrick Mabedi, that era. So we were joined in terms of conceding less, breaking the record of most points. Most points in the PSL for Kaizer Chiefs, breaking the records in terms of a whole lot of other records.
You must have scored the goal against Sundowns in that run for the 71 points, right? There was a title run that you guys were on, and there's a match where you score against Sundowns, you specifically score against Sundowns, and I think mathematically it becomes over. But there were so many dope moments, like you won 2 league titles, 2013, 2015 as well. You know, it was, I agree with you, it was an all-round mix, and then there was the downsides as well. But how do you come out of that experience as, like, do you agree that you are a club legend when you get out? You go in as a Bernard Parker, who's an international player, you get out as a club legend. Do you agree with that status?
Definitely, and I will proudly say I'm a club legend. You know, there's I'm just saying that because deservedly so. I'm a club legend because I've got history at the club. Other players would say they're club legends and they've only spent 3 years at the club and they haven't done. They don't have history at the club, and you know, after the glory days and after the rise days, you know, there was a transition that happened at the club, you know, and when the transition was made, you know, we as a club, we just couldn't revive those glory days or those rise days anymore. So it was a hiccup, and also at the same time there was a lot of positives as well during those days of years of drought, where we go all the way to the Champions League final, and here is Bernard Parker captaining the team right through all the way to the Champions League final. Here's Bernard Parker, who scored the goal for us to go through, you know, go through to the next round, go through to the knockout stages after beating Wydad, you know. after Wydad gave us 4-0 in the first round, and
that was a drubbing.
And then the whole country thought that Wydad now is coming here to give us a whacking again.
Well, they came with a weakened squad, and they admitted to this. Because I remember looking at the team sheet, I look at the players that they played in that 4-0, and I look at the players that they played in the game that you guys beat them. Well, you had to beat whoever's in front of you anyways. But I remember specifically that I think they even didn't have an 18-man squad. Maybe they had a 16-man squad, something like that. They underestimated it. And what happened, and I said this, that football is poetic sometimes. And sometimes you don't delela this game because on one hand, the team that you allowed a way back into this tournament is the team that knocked you out in the semi-final. And if you remember the semi-final, they had 23 shots. That, if I was betting on that game, Wydad Casablanca all the way because of their tournament experience, more superior players over the two legs. But Njabulo Blom, he finds Nurkovic somehow. They go to the VAR and it's a goal. And I'm like, and from that moment onwards, they keep on attacking. They come back to South Africa. They keep on attacking, and they can't score. For some reason, they just couldn't score.
Yeah, definitely. We adopted some sort of solidarity in terms of our defense, and I was brought in as a midfielder. I had to now change my role from an attacker to a midfielder, and it worked. It worked, whereas
that was a frustration, though. I have to say this because you're one of my favorite players. We had to start criticizing you and the country because in our eyes, when you're at Thunder Royal Zulu, when you are at FC20, when you're at Bafana Bafana, you are a forward. There's a game that you guys beat Amazulu 6-0. Do you remember how many goals you scored there?
4 goals.
You scored 4 goals because in our eyes, you are a forward. And when they started changing your position, we are angry at you for not performing. But all the time, if you look at it, you're like, damn, they're playing him left back. They're playing left-sided midfield. And
sometimes
I remember
holding midfield.
There you go. And I remember saying to people, this guy has played 60 matches scoring 1 goal because we couldn't stop seeing you as a forward.
Correct.
Now, what do you do in that moment? Like, do you have a conversation with the coach and say, look, I'm a forward, or you accept it, you become disciplined and say, let me play a role here? Like, what's going through your mind? Because I'm sure you do see that Parker is not scoring. Why they're always playing him? Because we never stopped seeing you as a forward.
Correct. And as a goal scorer. You never stopped seeing me as a goal scorer. And I became so selfless where I became a team player. I did everything for a team. And where a team deploys me, I'll give my best. And if the coach feels like he needs to use me in a certain role, I'll go in a role and I'll give my best. So even though the players that you guys were happy about are happy on the bench, and I will have to go play in his position, and he's happy on the bench, and you're not happy about me there putting my ass on the line and
but other players, Bernard, like other professionals would have gone and knocked. You know this, like. If a Steven Pienaar is played out of position, you would know this. You would go and knock and say, yo, you have expectations of me. You want me to assist. You want me to score. At Everton, he was played as an attacking midfielder. When he goes to Spurs, I think Harry Redknapp tries to play him left-sided. And even at Bafana,
as a false wing.
Yeah. And he doesn't perform. And he goes back to Everton. And they played him central attacking midfielder. And he scores again and assists again. You know this, that with professionals, you are humble to your detriment. So you are a soldier for your club, but it has a negative impact on you because, like I said, people don't stop seeing you as a goal scorer. You saying, okay, I'm a soldier, I'll go to war for you. But we think you are a forward. And I could see it, like you could see that you are there up top, and then number 10, and then eventually number 6, and then number 3 sometimes. And you always agree to it. Was there no moment where you're like, yo, I'm a forward? And because remember, with your contracts, you guys have contracts where it's built in. I remember
performance-based.
Exactly. I remember there's a player who plays for Newcastle, Joe Linton. They signed him as a striker, so it's performance-based contract. They will give him X amount of money. You get 100,000 if you get to 10 goals. Or 500,000 if you get to 10 goals. Eddie Howe comes in, and even before that, they change him into a central midfielder. Now they have to find a different way to compensate him because they're not playing him as a forward anymore, and he now is a good midfielder because they saw that in him that he could be a good midfielder.
Yeah.
Maybe now is happier because they've found a way to compensate him for the goals that he can't score from midfield. So you were humble to your detriment. It's a good thing to have that attitude, but it was to your detriment. I think that's my opinion.
I think I'll agree with you on that. Also at the same time, I love the club so much. I would say I love the club so much.
Yeah.
Not I love the club so much. Whereas I would do anything. I would do anything for the club. So I didn't think in that sense or in that direction, in that kind of way. I would just do anything. And with the chop and changes of coaches coming in and out, and then it was Solinas. After Solinas, it's Coach Kevinand. After Coach Kevinand, Coach Mirendorp. And then Coach Stewart now came in lastly. I played under all of them. And the public sees me, as you said, as a forward, as a goal scorer. And the coaches who's got the highest level of education, they know what they're doing. They know where they're playing me and why they're playing me there. But I would say within those moments, I've learned so much, I've experienced so much, and I've helped so much, I played against Njabulo Blom. I'm not surprised that Njabulo Blom is where he is today.
He's developed over the last 2 years.
Yeah, because I felt like, he was here under my arm. He was here next to me. He went through stuff here next to me. Same as Siyabonga Ngezana, he went through stuff here next to me. It's by no surprise to me because what I gave to the club to the best of my ability, I feel like to everything that I've given to the best of to the club and what the club has given to me because they've improved my life, my family life, and all of that. I feel like I am a club legend by right, and I will walk tall and walk proud everywhere I go. If people label me as a legend, I'm grateful. If people do not label me as a legend,
you never speak for themselves. So.
I take it, But as through all my time at the club, I believe that I'm a legend, because I've got history at the club,
Absolutely.
And not so many players can play for so many years at the club.
I asked Willard Katsanda the same question. What did the 2020 season do for you? Because that was devastating for fans.
Yeah,
13 months on top of the league. Give or take, there was COVID as well. And then in the last 32 minutes of the season, you lose it. Kambala equalizes, Sundowns. Mabua scored a hat-trick, which is underrated. That no one talks about this. On the other side, Sundowns has to beat Black Leopards. And I think Mabua, if I'm not mistaken, he scores a hat-trick on the other side. So they do their job. And then on the other side with you guys, Kambala scores an equalizer. What did that dressing room look like? Without dwelling too much on the build-up and everything else, but what did that dressing room look like after that moment? What did you feel about it, even yourself? Because that would have been like a big statement to Sundowns to say, because they have 6 league titles now. You would have broken that pattern.
in a row.
In a row, yeah. In a row. You would have broken it. They would have been on 3 now, or something like that. What did that dressing room look like?
I couldn't see what a dressing room looked like. I could hear what it felt like, but I didn't see what it looked like because my head was in my hands, looking down into the ground, and it was quiet. It was so quiet where you could even hear a pin drop, and we couldn't even. No one couldn't even speak because usually after the game we will pray. We would just shower, change, and we pray and go. We stood so long in that change room where guys didn't want to go shower. Nobody wanted to do anything. We were all numb, and that's something that I don't want to talk about or whatever. Don't want to look back at because it was just such a it was just such felt like it was just such a knife or a sword that went through the heart.
I couldn't believe
You
it.
know.
I was shaking. When we shot the last minute video, the
Yeah.
post-match video, I was shaking.
Yeah.
I just couldn't believe it. I was asking Junior, how can you say that Chiefs are not going to win this league? All they have to do is to beat Baroka.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it.
And we were leading as well.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Like I think Kama scored the first goal.
Yeah.
Long ball from Kune. And then Pitva Stadium. I remember now. It's coming back to me. I was shaking.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. Like people think that you take joy in one team losing over the other. I just get soaked up in this thing because I'm like, I love this thing so much. And I've said this to Sundowns fans.
Yeah.
I don't want one team winning the league 6 times in a row.
Yeah.
And I wanted a different team to win.
Exactly.
And I couldn't believe it. And my guys were like, Sundowns is going to win. And I'm like, nah, how do you know that? All Chiefs need to do is beat Baroka. That's it. Like, there's no other permutation.
Yeah.
Just beat the one that you're fighting against. Whatever Sundowns does on the other side doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. That game is one of the most iconic games I've ever seen in South African football history, given what it meant and its permutations as well. Let me ask you one more thing before I bring Charlie. I can't go through all of your book because people won't be incentivized to read the book. One last question.
Yeah.
I know it might be unfair, but what was your reaction to the announcement of Molefe Ntseki as the coach and the retaining of Arthur Zwane as the assistant coach?
I'm no longer there. You know, if I was there, I would have given you my thoughts. But I'm no longer there, and I found a new home. And people still talk about me and Chiefs, you know, and all what I know and all what I feel for the club is they've got my full support, you know. Whatever they do and all over the years, they've had my full support. No matter decision what they make and no matter what player they bring in, my role was to make sure the player feels at home, feels loved, for him to give his best, you know. And the same as a coach, make sure that the coach, I have to as a senior player, have the link with a coach with regards to the players and things like that. So I've just been a supportive guy, and I'm just a supportive guy. So I wouldn't give
Thank
much
you for that non-answer.
on Molefe.
Thank you for the non-answer.